Hello, everyone. It's Susan Winter here. Welcome to another live show. I'm trying to get the mic out of the. This is where you have to do it the opposite of the way you're seeing it. Today's live show is on a topic I'm very excited to discuss with all of you. It is about how to take a negative situation and find the positive in it. And the reason this is so important, I feel, is because we're all going to go through challenges in life, whether you're going through a breakup or the home that you wanted to buy, the home that you're like, this is it. We just found the home and it's sold out from underneath you. The job that you desperately wanted, that's your next move. If I could just get this, I'm on my way. All these things. And we think at the very time that this is going on that, oh my goodness, it's over. Never going to have anything good here. And that's not the way it is. So if we understand that when we are in a difficult situation, let's admit it's difficult, it's a challenge, a loss, a breakup, we cannot erase that pain or that recognition. However, how we move through that experience can be dramatically altered by our mindset through which we filter and interpret the situation. So I'd like you all watching, whether you're in the replay or you're here. Nathan, $10. Thank you, my dear. So nice to have you here. If you have a question, just let me know. Put it in super chat. I'll start with some of the exposition first to get you through this. So I want you to think right now about a painful situation that you're going through, something that really is upsetting you. It is not what is occurring to you, what appears to be happening in front of you is not the way you want it. It's not. It could be small, like my car broke down. We don't know. Anything, a breakup, a partner is not doing what they're supposed to do. They did something they're not supposed to do, whatever. And I want you to think about that as we go through this discussion. So here is my understanding that I want to share with you. And truly, I have lived through this, or I would not be in this career today. So I will explain to you and break it down. In life, we have multi dimensions. We have positive and negative. We have day, we have night. Yet when something bad happens, it's just bad. That's it. We don't apply that to our thinking about the bad situation because it's not what we want. I would ask all of you to suspend this for just a moment and consider, is there another message, meaning, desired outcome that could be born from this horrific situation that I do not have the ability yet to see? Because believe me, I'm going to talk about the gap because there's a time frame. If we could see, oh, this horrible thing happens, but oh, I get this. Oh, they crashed my car, but I wanted a new car anyway. Great. It doesn't happen like that. It can be years. It can be a while before you figure out the benefit of why it went left when you definitely wanted it to go right. So I'm going to start with some examples. For a moment, I'm going to acknowledge my wonderful people here, Gwyneth, whom I love, Gwyneth and B is busy working. Gwyneth is from Wales on a mobile. Love, love, love my moderators and everybody here. And Nathan, thank you for your contribution. I really appreciate it. You're back. Richard, welcome back. Great, good timing. You're going through very sad, alone days after this breakup. Okay, thank you for this. Let us consider this. Did you ever have a crush on somebody in high school and pine away from them and your life is never, never, never going to be the same? And then you run into them later and you're like, oh my God, is that what they did with their life? What was I thinking? Can you even remember their name? In the moment of our despair, we get into it. The point is that it's bad enough to have a negative experience, a breakup, a loss, something we wanted that doesn't occur. But if we just roll around in it and stay impaled by that sword that struck us, we are never going to get out of it. It's bad enough it happened once. but we relive the trauma by staying in the negative thought system, right? It already happened. You don't need to keep sitting in it. Do not wallow in it. Here is what I would suggest: to really hunt for the gem within this experience. Now, I did Allowing Magnificence. It was a book I wrote back in, I think, 2012. Self-published, so I could write it exactly the way I wanted to, quite succinct. It just has come out in audio booklet form, but I explained to you how to decode what is happening. Let me give you some examples of negative where a positive was born from it. Again, the unwanted experience happened. We're not going to change that. It is what happens afterwards that is perhaps the greater understanding and the greater reason behind this thing that we're railing against right now. So let's take a look at this. You ever heard of MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving? So in 1980, a lady in California, Candace Leitner, lost her daughter to a drunk driver. Now, there's no positive thing in that. And I'm not going to pretend the death of a daughter is a wonderful thing. Isn't this beautiful? It's horrible. No parent should ever have to have that experience. But it happened. And what was born of that? Candace started Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And they are a network worldwide, not-for-profit, and they help mothers and families that have suffered this loss because nobody knows like they do. And they rallied to change the drinking age nationwide in the US to 21 because younger drivers don't have all their the frontal lobe and all the cognitive skills aren't really in place yet. So it's not like she wanted that assignment. Oh, yeah, I'm signing up for being a contributor to raising the drinking age. Oh, I'll give up my daughter for it. She didn't ask for this, but it occurred. It doesn't take away the lifelong pain, but it does something positive. It allows us to move into an expression to correct a wrong, an injustice, everything phenomenal in life. Every organization that was created to correct an injustice. PETA, ASPCA. You sit and you watch it, you feel horrible, or you do something about it. And having this attitude actually lifts you out of the pain of a breakup. And I know you're thinking there's no good thing in a breakup. You don't know that. You don't know that this person who broke up with you, and now you feel sad and lost because it was that was your person. You're assuming this is the worst thing in the world, but we don't know how you roll it out after that. We don't know the bigger cause and the bigger effect. And sometimes in all this business of life that we really got dropped into and don't understand what in the world is going on and find a philosophy that we can stand by, would you rather be tormented every day of your life thinking everything is bad, or would you rather allow for the possibility that there can be a benefit here? I didn't ask for it, but I might find it. Okay? So this is a very important distinction to get you out of the pain. How do you know that one that left you was the best one? You sure? Absolutely. You don't, your family, your business, you don't know. Oftentimes, when I get delayed, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be late for this. I don't know. I go on the freeway and then there's an accident ahead of me. Would that have been me? 9/11. My ex's brother, whom I like very much, worked in the World Trade Center. Yep. His wife started in on him that day. He was so mad. He's German. He was going to be on time. He's a German kid. On time. He was late. He missed his train. Just as he's coming out of the subway, he sees the plumes of smoke. He would have been dead. Why did she start to fight with him? He was upset because his goal was to get to work on time. And yet, we sometimes don't trust this magnificent thing called life, that maybe there are derails and intersections and partners fall off the conveyor belt, as I say. The little broken toy came off the conveyor belt, not right for you. Maybe better for this person. that there is perhaps a greater design. And I'm not a woo-woo, I'm an everyday practical spirituality person. I want it to work in my life. So you might know there's a famous Chinese proverb, and it's really kind of cute. And I'm sure you know it, but I'm going to repeat it for you anyway. It's the story about the farmer, and he has a horse and his son, and the horse runs away. And all the villagers say, "Oh, that's terrible. Your horse ran away. Oh, how horribly." He says, "We'll see. Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see." A couple of days later, the horse comes back with more wild horses to help on the farm. The neighbors say, "Oh, this is wonderful. This is the greatest thing ever." We'll see. The son is trying to break the horse to tame it, breaks his leg instead. The neighbors say, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever. Oh my God." He says, "We'll see." The army conscripts everybody of fighting age for a war. Son can't fight because of the broken leg. We'll see. Is it the best thing? Is it not? Everything has another side. That person you're obsessing about right now, that, oh my God, they got away and I'll never have one like it, you probably don't know the other side. There are positive and negative, and though we'd love to just live in the positive, it's not going to happen. There's pain and there's happiness. There's life and there's death. So let us, knowing this, if we can accept it there, can you not accept it for a moment in your mind that maybe this horrible, horrible, horrible thing has a benefit? You don't know. But what I have to tell you is that there is a time gap in the realization. When you get really good at this, you can decode it in real time, but that's a bit of learning. I can walk you through it, but it's too much to do here. So let me detour before I go on to the rest of this and give you a little bit of acknowledgement. Richard, nice to see you. Guri, perfect timing going through this. We talked about this. Shiloh, I think one of the greatest things I've learned from you, Susan, is learn to trust myself. There is a reason for things we go through and why we feel what we feel. So the reason I wrote Allowing Magnificence, and it's probably Audible offers it for free. I mean, Audible offers all my stuff for free. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a digital voice. I found her agreeable. I pushed a button. It is so incredibly expensive to do a professional narration. You have no idea. And the hours it takes, I would have never done a 2.5-hour book. There's no way. It was $900 just for the narration for me to do breakup triage, and that's only 33 minutes. And then another $500 or $600 to individually give Audible all the individual chapters. And it was a nightmare. I needed to hire 3 technicians, and you all get it on Audible for free. So I pushed a button. So do not be offended by that. The point is to hear it if you want to hear it, to read it if you want to read it. This is going to be ongoing for us. And if you're willing to say everything happens for a reason, then don't just say it. Make sure that you understand how to decode what that reason is, because it will assist you in going through this horrific situation. Okay. Hi, E.T. E.T. knows Gwyneth and B. She was in my Munich group. I love this when I went to Munich. Very excited about our Munich plans. Okay. This is so great. So they all get together. And my Singapore people, I don't know that you're in here today. We were supposed to have Jillian might join us. Jillian is the producer of Kiss 92 FM. Had a chance to meet her. I have a quote that's pulled directly from Allowing Magnificence, and it says, "The worse the situation equals the greater the energetic charge for transformation." So let me put it to you this way. The worse the pain, the greater the possibility for positive. It's exactly weighted equally, right? This is how it goes. So when you have an horrific situation in front of you, there is the possibility within that design, a magnificent outcome of equal weight. Kiamia, hello, $13.99. Thank you so much. Hi, how can I still be stuck on someone who I know is not the one for me? I'm not going to read any further. It's because you're stuck in the dream and they looked enough like it that you just put them there. I'm continuing on. We were only friends with benefits. Yeah, there's no tension when it's a friend, and the benefits thing didn't get you to see what they're really like. And friends with benefits, you allowed yourself to be into something, my dear, that you might not be a hookup girl. I'm sorry. We all have to admit what is our nature. There are people that are really, really well well suited for in and out and casual, and they know how to do it. They might have difficulty in a more prolonged and intense interpersonal intimate relationship. Got attached and having a hard time getting on the exit ramp and not getting back on. Okay, let's do a quickie here. This is a horrible situation. You're in pain. Okay. Is there any benefit from this experience that you have learned that might put you in a completely different position? Could it, on the simplest analysis, flip you into, you know what? If somebody offers me that as the entryway to get to know them, it's clearly for their benefit and not for mine. Maybe I need to hold out and say, I really like you and I'd love to see you, but I don't like dead ends. Really kills my motivation to do anything. I can't get excited about going down a dead end. If you have something else to offer and you can open up your mind to that, that could be really exciting for us to explore. So you definitely know you don't want what you don't want. So you can flip it to the other side. And you're not stuck on him. Please, it's not the person. It is the dream. I know it's a bit of business, but the person is simply the symbol, the closest symbol we have to a human to put into that place. Because I guarantee you, you got a dream in your mind that's quite exact. You could probably tell me today, oh, we're going to do this and that, and then we're going to have this, and we'll vacation together and just lying in bed and maybe watching movies in the morning or reading the New York Times or wherever you live. I don't know. But that's where you go. Welcome, B. Okay, so do you understand what I'm talking about? If you have any recognition of law of attraction, if you believe it at all, it's not woo-woo. It's actually, well, spirituality is kind of like I think many things in the spiritual world are simply our junk drawer for stuff we cannot yet scientifically explain. And that's why I like noetic sciences, and I like the more that science intersects with spirituality, the more we realize that there's a lot more than what we see here. There are a lot more layers than our interpretation. There are layers upon layers upon layers. And we do not have the level of intelligence to figure this stuff out. And honestly, the people that I know that have tried to figure this out go a little, I mean, I've got a kid that keeps writing to me, and he's like a mashup between Krishnamurti, Ken Wilber, and I don't know, somebody on acid. So it's like I get what they're saying. I get it. Be cautious. You can't live there. You can visit it, you can know it, but if you want to function in the physical world, that's not the best position for you. For those of you that are really spiritual mountaineers. Okay? So do you understand this? Let's talk about the generic time gap that most people will go through when they experience a bad situation. It's bad. It's horrible. Now, where does your mind go? Oh, then this is going to happen. Then this is going to happen. Here's where your creativity starts. Your imagination takes over. But then if this happens, that happens. I can't break up with them. They're in my friend group. Oh my goodness, I have to see them every day in the office. How is this going to happen? I love the family. I'll never see them again. I'll never have anybody. Oh my God, it's the end of my life. We go right down the rabbit hole to the very end. And all this is just imagination. We don't know that it's going to happen. It is our fear that takes us on that train to a negative spot. Why can we not try a little bit of mental discipline and say, okay, I'm catching myself. I can feel this train is moving very quickly. It's my impulse to do this. We are label making machines. We have to make context and organize and sort every experience so that we can function in this world. And there's so much we don't know. But if we put labels on it, we feel better. Okay, this is what I think it is. Then you say to yourself, is there another possibility? Please, please, if you've got a faith, if you've got a belief in yourself, if you've got a meditation, go into it. Whatever you think, or if you're scientific, just say, what could the other possibilities be? I've had to do this in my life so many times. And there were detours that every time I came to something I wanted, repetitively, I was repelled from that. And I really wanted it. It's like stuff was just happening to keep it from me. Very unusual stuff. And it was so ongoing. And I keep thinking to myself, well, why would you take my dream away? I want that. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think I wanted to be tormented by my community, hated and a pariah for 6, 7, 8 years because I loved somebody? Do you don't think I was asking what the hell the reason for this is? I knew it was unusual, but I also knew the punishment, the hatred, and the negativity was way out of control. And I knew enough about basic alchemy to know, and I'm talking about thought alchemy, to understand that the greater the impact, the greater the possibility. The greater the torment, the greater the benefit. And I kept saying, I'll go through any of this. I'll burn at the stake, but you got to give me a reason why. As I'm screaming into the universe, not knowing what's listening. Didn't happen right away. Lots of things were happening that were beneficial. When everybody in your environment hates you and casts you improperly, and you're looked at as a horrible creature, and you're labeled things that you know you're not, and you can't argue with them because it's so much more fun to have this analysis. You develop self-esteem and a trust in yourself because certainly nobody else is believing in you, and it'll kind of eradicate your people pleaser stuff. And then a magnificent offhanded comment from a woman that you know said, we should write a book. And here I am today. I wouldn't be here. I was playing golf. I was happy. I was looking for something, but I wouldn't be here today. And I kept saying, why this torment? Why? Why are you doing this to me? Unmasked. Like, it's not a little bit. It's like being dropped into the middle of a Black Mirror episode. Like, really. It was just so insane. And I'm living it. And you may be living it too. An injustice, a disbelief in your truth, something that you know is right and real, but you are not going to give it up. If you want love and somebody's not loving you, why them? Are they the only source? Could they be the catalyst? Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. They could be a catalyst. Remember, the catalyst is not affected. It just bumps you. It's the thing that affects, but is rarely affected itself. These pieces in the puzzle that we don't understand that hurt us. I promise you, life has better things to do than to mess you about. It feels like it at times. And you might notice that the more you notice the negative stuff and the more you get into, I can't catch a break. Life is just doing it to me. Yeah, that's the way it is. Guess what? The energy of those thoughts, and this is not spiritual, this is just stuff. I'm just saying it's just the way it works. Make it spiritual if you like. If that works for you, that's fine. But I'm just saying, in a very practical thing, I have noticed that when you start going down that thing, you draw more attention to it, you see more negative things. It is a mental discipline. No differently than pushing away that second piece of cake than saying, I'm going to stop here because I have to drive. I've already had a glass of wine. I'm going to drive home. I want to be safe. It is a mental discipline. No, I'm going to stop obsessing about the person who only wants to put me in a box of friendship because you know what? I deserve better than that. And the fact that you don't see it makes me wonder what in the world I made you so important for. You don't see me. You got me in a box for your convenience. But I want you. Some of that stuff that needs to go to therapy, the rest of it you can just work out and go, okay, this is all about you. I'm here for your questions, but please entertain the thought when something bad happens, when the thing that's happening right now, please, please, please ponder the possibility that things have two sides. As bad as it appears, there could be a positive, and there is a time gap. There's a time gap. You won't see it for a while. But sometimes things occur and people come into our lives as needed. I mean, listen, y'all, I don't do publicity. My classic downfall is I do not ask for help. I'm a lone wolf out here just doing my own thing. And everybody found me. Oprah found me. People write letters to this woman continually. They send her gifts. They called me. It's like that was huge in 2003 when that happened, only because the arc of older women, younger men, I'd done my job. Didn't mean to be here. This is what happened. What about the others? Oh my God, those people don't have a voice. I really know what it's like to be tortured for this, for love, right? But I'm not stopping because you don't approve. I'm going to try to educate you on what you don't see. That is a bigger picture, that maybe we fall in love with somebody that you may not think is correct. It could just be real. And aren't we being a little judgmental when men have been doing this for ages, but God forbid a woman do it? And it wasn't even about the men. It was just about women having more options. Like, could we be a complete human being, please? Would you allow us the same choices? Is that possible? So, didn't set out to do this, but I promise you, I'm a living testimony to the fact that horrible things can happen. And sometimes it's the best thing that ever happened. Not right away, but maybe eventually there's a bigger message. Okay? So now, all about you. What y'all have to say? Um, okay. I totally get it intellectually, Kiamia, but I keep it alive. I see him every day in dance class. Okay. When we can't get away from somebody we love, it's always kind of affecting us. So this is why so many people go no contact and tell you to go no contact, because they know that the more you see them, it starts up again. All right. He doesn't have the capacity for deep love or possibly even caring. I don't understand myself. Well, of course you do. It's not that difficult. Get out a piece of paper right now. What does he stand for in your mind? Quick, 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 quick answer before you edit yourself. A person, somebody love me, a perfect partner. We dance. Oh, we do the same things. We could be perfect together. We could be perfect together, but we're not. We could be. I see things I like. I'm going to jam the rest of my hopes in there anyway. Yeah, but they can't fulfill them. I totally get you, ma'am. You're saying I don't understand myself. Hits home. Trust me, it's just imagination more than reality. Well, thank you, Corey. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. This conversation is one of many that I want to have on Thursdays because I'm seeking desperately to have deeper conversations than why somebody didn't text you back. I promise you, I've done all those. When you do 1,000 videos, I've said it. Not that I won't help, but it's a deeper issue. But when you go a little bit deeper, you tend to solve it because you kind of get to the root of it. And I also don't want to be hampered by what I'm required to do for an SEO discussion, which isn't often things that you, as my audience, wants to hear. It may be something that certain viewers want to watch generically. So I have never been tied. Nothing is tied to an SEO. My website doesn't have an SEO attachment. I don't know how to make it go. This has never had SEO. I kind of write what it is. And temporarily, I had hired somebody to help me, and I was appalled at what I had to do myself, and I hated everything I did. And it got hits, but I thought, God, am I pandering to something? So I need your input. What do you want to hear? What do you need help with? I found it wonderful that 2 weeks ago, one of the subscribers here that came on told me that they wanted to talk about self esteem and confidence. I did a show on that. If this is what you want to hear, if you're showing up at 2 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays for me, then this is in service to you. So please tell me what you'd like to hear. That would be very helpful for me. Okay? Any questions? B, thank you for joining us. So I want to get back to Nathan. Do you have anything for me, Nathan, that you want to talk about? I love the fact that you talk to each other. I just want to make sure that if you have a question for me, this is what the live show is actually about. The purpose is to give you direct contact. Oh, your videos help me getting over being ditched, dumped, just like that out of the blue when my boyfriend decided after a year and a half to go back, give a second chance to his toxic narc ex. Maya, that's where he feels comfortable, and a healthy relationship does not feel comfortable to him. So you would have had two choices. I can become like the toxic ex to keep this man or this person, I think it's a he, or I could just continue to be myself, lose him, which is really sad because there are beautiful, wonderful, fabulous things about him, but we're not growing in the same direction. I want healthy. And he only knows toxic because he's still trying to get the approval of somebody from the family of origin. I'm not sure whom, but we want to heal our partner. Ideally, on the highest spiritual, divine, or just functional level, two people together, united, come into a divine relationship dynamic to witness and participate in each other's healing. I mean, that's what this is supposed to be about. What percentage of the population do you think is aware of that? And if they're aware of it, just even intellectually, what percentage of the population do you think is able to do it? And not just you do it, have them do it too. So now we understand why marriage, which kind of keeps you together because it's much more difficult to get out, has been effective as an instrument to force going through these changes that are uncomfortable. That is the upside to it. To make sure that if you're in that dynamic, that you can't walk away so easily and go, I just want to switch partners, which is so easy to do when we are not. There are people who are not in a marriage situation that are incredibly devoted and committed to their partner. That's an individual personality trait. That is how I function. But I am not in any way against marriage for those people that want to be in it as a structure that kind of says, hey, we are serious. And when we want to bail, it's going to make it a little bit harder to do so. We are committed to working this thing out and helping each other grow and expand. So let me see. Anything else? Maria Rana, thank you. Maya L, thank you for this. Let me see. Things look better from far. You are better off without him. Okay, where you're all helping each other. Okay. Oh my goodness. Now you're all coming. Susan, we would like to know how to build yourself after a long relationship breakup, 8 years. You don't want to even touch anybody else. Forget about dating. Why? Because you're still in love with that person. If it ended, we have to trust there's a reason for this, even if you're resisting it. That If they ended it with you, they are going here and you're not. That doesn't mean go and chase them. So you got to get out a piece of paper. What is their reason for the breakup? Okay, they got to have a reason. 2, was it anything that you could have done that you did not do? 3, if you did everything and that's their reason, they just wanted to go. They want something else. And we can't make them want to work at it. They aren't. Yeah. The most frightening thing is oftentimes people want this break and they don't know why. They just 8 years, things get stale. I do understand. It is long-term relationships are an animal unto themselves, and they require an inherent sense of commitment. Um, to build yourself up after a long relationship. Quick, off the top of my head. 1, well, I know I have the capacity to do a long-term committed relationship. So I'm prize material. I'm the top of the food chain for anybody looking for that. 2, I certainly have the capacity to love and hang in there. That should be a great selling point to anybody else. 3, why did my partnership end? Come up with a 1-sentence statement that doesn't crucify your partner, but explains the position. They changed, they wanted something different, they thought they wanted to be single, whatever. I don't know what the story is. If you don't know the story, do your best estimate. And then understand that, see, this is another thing, and it is hard in the moment because you're in it right now. So when you're in the pain, we don't see. When you're sitting in the pain of it, you do not see the greater possibility. This is where you have to really unlock your mind to start to imagine what could be the greater possibility here. How do you know this was the perfect one for you? Just because you had 8 years, they didn't want to stick it out. Are you sure that's the perfect one? So let's see. Maybe if this is recent, you're not ready. Get yourself together. But you should feel a greater sense of trust in yourself if you know that you did everything to the best of your ability, right? Uh, I suggest a consultation. Some of you, I want to do my best here, but there's stuff that I'm not hearing that's such a simple flip that when I hear you, whether it's something you said or even something you haven't said, I can sense it. But that's where I begin to go. We all tend to think that what we've experienced that is good is the top of the line. I'll never have it again. Like I got it and then I lost it. So we keep thinking it's this thing like we're grabbing for, we can't get it back. My belief shows me that it is not the thing that we're grabbing and can't maintain. It is the thing that we have physically grabbed and put into our physical reality. It is not a hope or a dream. It is something we have lived through. And when you live through the manifestation of that in real physical form, you have now cemented it into your baseline. This is not the point I hope to get again. This is where I live and this is where I start. This is my truth. This is who I am. This is what I know is possible. And I start again from this point, not that point. Do you understand? It's your baseline. You do long term. Good. Good on you. Pat yourself on the back, shake yourself off. Think of what they didn't give you that you really wanted. Redo your requirements for your dream and just investigate. Do duty dating. You don't have to get involved. Duty dating it's a Susan thing. It just means date for data. It's just opening you up to like what else could be that I didn't look at that I got locked into. And you kind of go against type. You have to do different input that you'd never consider. Okay, enough of that. I had a similar scenario happen to me. Uter, hi, we've spoken on email. How are you doing? Hi, Susan, what's your opinion on speed dating? I like it. Next. 1, you're showing the universe you're getting out there. 2, you're making an effort. 3, it is a very low bar of participation. It could be fun. You take it as a goof. You say hi. Get your phrase down. Know the questions they're going to ask you. They're going to ask you, what are you looking for? What do you want? What do you do? Have that down. Don't recite it, like memorize it, but just have the speaking points down. Ask them about themselves. What do they want? What's their dream? What's the one thing they've always wanted to achieve in their life? If they had a trip and they had endless money, where would they go? Find some fun stuff to talk about. I think it's fabulous. I really do. I really do. Susan, I've been listening to your videos since the days I was ghosted and disappointed on repeat. I think, let me see, I can't see the rest of the page here. I'm going to widen this just a little bit. Yours was the only positive yet realistic advice that helped me channel my confidence and hope. Kiana, thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate this in this world of such nonsense and repackaged information that we've had. I'm constantly looking for a new language angle to alleviate your pain. I'm only doing all of this to alleviate pain. I know the pain of the confusion and listening to everybody, and it's still not the answer. It just didn't feel right. So I'm always looking for a way to present it that's going to feel right and accurate to you. Okay. Gwari, the reason is that they don't love you anymore, was cheating on me, got engaged, then called me again that he was wrong and wants me back. Okay, he's just scared. He doesn't want to have an empty hand. So it's so much easier to hold on to something and dump it. It gives this person a safety net, right? Yeah, this is not what you want. If they don't know after 8 years, come on. In short, he himself doesn't know. This is like abort, evacuate. You can't. This is a no-go. We do not tolerate that. You don't know after 8 years what I am? I'm not putting up with this, because I understand. I call this last-minute comparison shopping. You're just about to get serious, and maybe they were about to get engaged to you. Maybe they were thinking, I'm going to lock this down. But one last fling. Maybe this isn't what I want. Now, but I don't trust this person. They came back. They could leave just as easily again. I just don't. I think I just don't. Okay. Let's see. I know that Richard is in here. Hi, Richard. This is such a hopeful speech. Granny from Wokeland, I'm glad you think so. I've seen many coaches on YouTube. You are by far the best. Thank you. The manipulators. No, many of the coaches, they're telling you what they've heard. You already know everything you've heard. It's the same stuff that we believe. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's probably right. But if it worked, you wouldn't still be digging. So many times it just takes a multitude of voices, and one will speak to your soul, to your heart, to your mind, to your understanding. That's all it is. But for me, I'm so sick of doing repeats and people trying to get me to do, oh, your SEO sucks. This is what's happening. You need to do one on obsession. I've done 1,000 on obsession. I've done so much on. It's out there, I promise. But I want to move into finer, not that we exclude it, but just let's move forward. Let's move forward. If that didn't work, there's more. Let's keep going. Let's find out. What's the next thing here? Okay. A few times, and Richard, thank you so much. $10. Thank you for your contributions. When I've been dumped in a bad breakup of a long romance, the woman contacted me later about being platonic friends. When could that ever be a good idea? Okay. Constant comment from me, and this is a rule. When they no longer activate you mentally, emotionally, or sexually, when there's no charge, when all the romance and all the seeing them as that thing has died, if there is even a flicker of an ember that is burning in the back of a maybe, you can't afford to do it. I'm good friends with my ex now, that I literally, because he really misrepresented himself, I mean, really let me down and really cost me a lot in so many ways I can't tell you. And I thought, I can live with this burden, or I can let it go. I don't forget. Occasionally I remind him. and he feels terrible about it. But he was a shit at the time. He was, and he knows it. And I torment him with the idea that now that he's doing so well, he's going to have to take care of me when I'm a little old lady. And then I tell him that, yeah, I'm going to show up with my suitcases at your door and I'm just going to be there. Like, you got to take care of me. And I just threaten him with that. He laughs, but half of me is like, oh, I might just do it. And now we look to see each other when I travel. You know, you can meet a person at a time that it seems to make sense to you. Start to unravel who they are and find something completely different under the packaging. One, what they posture, they may want to believe about themselves. Or two, what they posture to show you, they may need you to believe for their benefit. We don't always know. That's why I say dating is about as sophisticated as picking a brown paper bag lunch off a buffet table. You don't know what's in there. You don't know what's in there till you open it up. So this is why resilience, and for us to have a set of tools as to how we handle these situations when shit occurs, it's blowing up on me. How do I handle it? What are my tools? What can I go to? Oh, I'm going into deep despair. But wait, do I know that that's the case? Okay, I'm sad. I'm going to honor that. There's no getting around that. Not what I wanted. Any possible benefit that I'm not seeing? Because time will show you. And I'm sure you all, if you think about it, have somebody that you desperately wanted and you see where they are now in life or what they've done or what they've become. And you're thinking, wow, I'm glad I missed that. Or even those of you who go, oh, I missed it because now they're so successful. They're so gorgeous. They're like, oh my God, now they're everything. When they weren't, now they are. I lost it. You don't know that. You're trying to second guess a force, a series of forces that are much more organized and complete than we could ever be in our understanding. And if none of that works for you, let me just state it this way. It is what it is. Move on. That's the down and dirty East Coast. No spirituality, just it is. It happened. You didn't like it. It sucked. Move on. That's it. Let's see what else. I was dumped out of the blue and blocked. My intuition still says we had something great, but then I feel no one can do that bad to someone they love. Well, what did we discover? Let's really dissect this because you're all so emotional at this point, and I don't blame you. Everybody is. You can't think straight. This is why we have financial advisors so we don't react emotionally to an investment. This is why we have professionals do hostage negotiation, because when the individual family members try and get a hostage free, or the company, the board of directors they get too emotional and they get in the way. This is why a third party can see what you can't see. And this is the benefit of playing this out. But let's really analyze. If you were a dating coach and I brought that information to you, did you lose something valuable? Really? Did you? It's somebody that couldn't bother to give you much of an explanation, right? They ghost you. Like, what is up with that? Dumped out of the blue, blocked, ghosted. Like, who does that? What fear, discomfort, need to run away from confrontation, lack of honesty, unethical, insensitive person is that? Scared? Does it, like, here's the thing about dumping and blocking. Unless they found you in bed with their best friend, there's absolutely no reason for it. Unless you cleaned out their bank account or racked up their credit card and moved into their house like a squatter and won't give their home back there's no plausible reason. So all we can think about is they wanted to exit. And imagine this, it's so selfish. I don't want to feel uncomfortable, like having to watch you suffer with me giving you this information. So I'm just going to dump you and block you. So I never even have to hear your response. Because, that might be inconvenient or uncomfortable. You might be mad, you might be crying, you might want to talk, and I just don't want to deal with that because I don't want to deal with your emotions. This is what you want? This is your person? That characteristic, that disposition is what you want to love? Let me go to something else I discovered, another angle. This worked for me. Do you admire the human that can do that? Do you admire them? Because honestly, how can you love somebody you can't admire as a human being walking this earth? If you want them, it's sexual. If you want them, it's need for the hole in your soul, for the participation in society, to have a partner because you're terrified of being alone. It's a something else that we have to work on within ourselves. But an admirable quality human being, one with which we'd want to align ourselves, would not take that course of action or inaction. They wouldn't do it. There's no fiber in their in their soul that would do that to you. That's somebody that doesn't give a shit. I don't know how else to explain it to you. But clearly, their comfort is more important than your agonizing discomfort. Breakup triage, and again, I got to plug this because I'm just saying these are the answers. It's free on Audible, y'all. Listen, breakup triage, point number one that I tell you in this audio booklet is you got to find a reason. And the reason for this, don't say I'm confused. I don't know. The reason is they don't want to deal with it. It's inconvenient. It's uncomfortable. You deal with it. You think that's good? People are crazy. This is just so crazy to me. I agree with the brown paper bag comment. Debbie says, if you can handle hearing about your ex's love life or dating life, then you can be friends with them. Yeah, when you're over all of it, you got to be done with the pain. You got to be done with the anger. You got to be done with everything. Okay, S comment. Hey, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, I adore you. $10. This is a client of mine. Lovely. Hey, Susan, caught the live stream late. Just wanted to say thank you for all the wonderful work you do. My dear, you are more than welcome. I love seeing clients like this who not only jump on here when you have time, because I know this is the middle of the day for everybody. This is like Oprah in the middle of the day. Who's watching Prisoners and Housewives? I mean, who even watches? You got to watch the replays. I love this lady, but when she had her show on the air, it's like, who's sitting around in the afternoon? This is an example. This lady is an example of somebody that has just blossomed, just blossomed. Sometimes we don't know how to get there ourselves. We don't. I understand that. A wise friend that you trust, a book that gave you some information, it's out there. And if you want it, you will find it. And I thank you so much for being a fantastic client. Oh God, you answered my question. You've helped me a lot as well. But this is unexpected. Love you, Susan. Oh, I'm not sure what your question was. I'm glad that you have it. Does your super chat work? If you're also from India, yeah, I think. I mean, there might be certain ways that you're blocked. I'm not a tech person, and Gwyneth and B normally just say you can do this. There's a little money sign in a square. This is why I also understand that many of you can't get it to go through, and I don't know what makes that happen. Somebody once thought I was blocking them. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not that smart to know. Okay, Riz, the breakup one is not free with Audible subscription, but the Allowing Magnificence is. Oh, that's a recent change. Audible subscription, it was always free. So if it's not, I'm sorry, it's probably a couple dollars because I don't have it set it very much. But I'm sorry about that. It was for literally years. Things change. And right now, Allowing Magnificence is bundled. I think if you have an Audible subscription, it's for free. It's 2.5 hours. If you buy the ebook, it's $199. I can't keep up with how they do this, but thank you for telling me. Okay, let's see. It's 12:30 midnight in India. Well, you are a trooper. Thank you for that. I realize that this is really not geared for people in the US, but I have an enormous international audience. And so I like that. Most people think I'm the most childish person on the planet because I'm a gamer and just act super immature, Granny. Okay. So what does that mean? So you likely resonate with other gamers, and that's a better crew for you. When we have a really strong passion, it's far easier for us to find people that are in that environment with whom we can resonate. Uh, Gwyneth, thank you so much for coming in here and looking for the super chat. Okay, yes, it's working, Gwari. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's the India thing. Anything else? Recently, Jyoti, hi. How are you doing? I recognize this name. I talked to a guy on Insta, don't use dating apps, and he brutally rejected me for friendship, saying he doesn't interact with females, won't even try as it's difficult for his age. He is just 28. It's just difficult for him. Uh, You know, this is the broken toy that falls off the assembly line. I'm sorry it doesn't make it through the inspection. This is a no-go area, right? Just trying to be simple here. Thanks, Susan. I've always had the flicker of feelings when they come back to me months later, and even though they don't reciprocate. So I just said no. Yeah, just say no. Yeah, just say no, right? Nancy Reagan and I say, just say no. It's really important because you can't afford to have that lingering hope. That is a waste of time and energy. I want to ask if anybody else understands this timing gap. When you're in the middle of a emotional crisis and you wanted it to go this way and it went that way, there is a gap where you may not realize the benefit for a while. You may not realize the redirect as being purposeful. You may not realize in your adoration of this person who's just dumped you, blocked you, treated you horribly, cheated on you, whatever, in your suffering, it's a bit of a breath of recovery before you can start to really process it in this way. But the mental discipline of asking yourself, is there something I don't see here that could be beneficial? You have to have a fundamental, you have to call upon a fundamental belief that life is not here to screw you over. If you subscribe to that thinking, then you're going to have a hard time. If you and there are people who are raised in a family of origin that's what they believe. We just can't catch a break. Yeah, no good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, people like us, we never get ahead. Yeah, we're not so smart, but we're good. Or the one I like, we're poor, but we're good people. None of this is a correlation. Okay. So these are cop outs for not using mental discipline. Mental discipline just means entertain the possibility. The possibility exists. This is like a scientific thing. The possibility exists. We don't know. We don't have all the answers. The possibility exists. Something better could be waiting for you. We were really, really, really invested in that one thing the way we wanted it. I get it because I've had that happen in my career. I had a boyfriend that repeatedly did not give me the phone calls for Woody Allen films where I was chosen to have speaking roles early in my life. The Woody Allen was huge, picking me out of a crowd of everybody. I didn't have an agent, much like the work I'm doing here. I just did my thing. Three times. We relied upon an answering machine. Did they call? Did they call? I finally called the casting director. We cast that, Susan. We kept calling you. We kept leaving messages. He didn't want me to do it. Oh, yeah. Angry at him. Then I thought, that would have been another course of life. I don't know. That was another branch on the road of life. That sounds a little bit more glamorous to me than, being propped up here on a chair and putting on makeup and setting up lights. But I might have liked that better because they do all the tech work. That would be great. But Maybe I had something else. Sometimes we have to just trust that we might end up exactly where we're supposed to be and to begin with. I think there's a truth to that. And I see something else. 100 of these, I think this is Indian. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wait. Where is it? Oh, Susie, I hate it when I touch these things. Oh, here we go. Okay. Wait. I got it. Okay. Let me see here. Curry. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thanks, Susan. In India, we don't have mature elder people giving us advice on relationships. You are a boon to us. Thanks. I'll be your auntie, right? They call me auntie. And I've learned that just means like a dear family member. I think I'm understanding this properly. No, I will be your auntie. I promise you. This is what I have to say to everyone. Oh, also, I used your dog Nika's example about bringing your energy back to yourself after a breakup. It's helped a ton. Also, I hope Nika is doing well. Okay. Lauren does all the Nika stories as a prelude to this, and she gets a kick out of it. And she's incredibly gifted at this. For those of you who don't know my Instagram account, it's Susan E. Winter. My name is not Susan E. It is Susan. Middle name is Elaine and then Winter, but Susan Winter was taken. So by the time I got an Instagram, it was Susan E. Winter, and I think you're going to see this on Twitter and stuff like that. So she put this whole little story, and she did a lot around it. That Nika has suddenly discovered her neighbor Mulligan here in Arizona, and that's the love of her life. And she didn't see him before, but Pierre broke up with her, and Pierre was being a snooty French poodle, and she's like, "Oh, I'm heartbroken." And then suddenly, Mulligan. So hope lives in it. Thank you. Lauren does a really, really good job with that. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I want to get back to this. You are more than welcome. Let me quickly go back to what Granny says, who thinks that because of her immaturity, that you'll run off and cheat and not take things seriously in a relationship. So, how can you, in your language and in your formulation of what you say to somebody, discourage that belief and actually set them straight? I do monologues in the beginning of relationships. Oh, I mean, forget being coy. I'm not coy. So if you want, I'm not the dating coach for you if you want to be mysterious. I'm sorry. Life is too mysterious as it is. I've had enough of a time just digging through to find out where the truth is, trying to find my truth, trying to express my truth, and trying to make my truth understood to somebody else. To me, that's enough of a task. I realize that there's a whole genre of seductive female energy. I'm not that person. You would need to go to another coach for that. It is another mechanism with another energy, with another outcome that's slightly different. I know this. This is what I know. So I stay in my lane. Um, in your language, in your common language, I would intersect if somebody misunderstands who you are because they've judged you. I don't know, according to your age, your clothing, your hobbies. If they've misjudged you, I like to, as I say, jump to the philosophical. That's a Susan thing, meaning I will just do a rant philosophically about people, life. Has nothing to do with that person, but I'm giving them indirectly the exposition of who I am and where I stand. I might say to somebody that I think is sniffing around but has been afraid to ask me on a date, something like, you know what I love seeing in relationships, and I love the commitment and I love the values. And I'm especially, I think, like any woman, we find a person that we want to admire and believe. And there's something so beautiful about relationships and a sense of belonging that, you have somebody to come home to in partnership, or whatever rant I want to give them for whatever I'm going to want from them, right? In their participation in my life. And this might change throughout your life. In your 20s, you may just want to taste the buffet table. In your 30s, you may start to think, may want to take some of this takeout food home. And in your 40s, you may say, you know what? I'm a gourmet now. I'm going to stay at home with this. This is good for me. I don't know where you're at. It's independent of age. But one thing that I need to say to all of you, and this is very important. I'm here as a voice, and I love the fact that you're here for me. You must always trust yourself. Your internal radar and intuition must supersede anything you hear anyone say, including myself. If it is not right and true and real for you, don't bite it, eat it, take it hook, line, and sinker. Don't consume it and make it part of you. If what you're hearing does not agree with the deepest part of your soul, your truth, and what you know yourself to be, do not subscribe to that philosophy. It will not work for you. The only truth that will work for you is that truth that resonates truly, easily, and naturally. And then it will be, right. I feel that way too. That is your truth. Please, it's very important. Oh, in the last paragraphs I have in Allowing Magnificence says, don't listen to me. If anybody tells you they've got the answers, run like hell. If they want to have you pay them for the answers, run like hell. You have the answers inside of you. All of us do. And that's what I'm here to share with you. We all have these answers. I'm happy to be here to help give these little technical things along the way of this very difficult time period we're in, trying to figure out what in the hell people are doing, trying to get to love and relationships. But you probably already know this platform is just to help give you the tools to uncover that, right? So let me see what we have here. Thank you, Corey. And I think there's something. Oh, I think this is enough. Oh, Jillian. Hi, Jillian. How are you? Welcome. 9889. I know you're really busy working. Susan would have beaten out Diane Keaton and Annie Hall. So happy I could catch the tail end. Too many meetings lately. Much love to all Susanites. Jillian is the one that utilized and originated the phrase Susanite. So we love her dearly. And thank you for joining us. Again, I really urge all of you, it is your truth that you're looking for. I can guide you, but it's always going to be about you. Okay. I really taking a break from social media, but I'm glad Nika is happy. Thank you, S. Kamat. These posts made me smile. I know Lauren is brilliant with that. I just let her go. Wow, Susan, this is so powerful. B, we all have to trust ourselves. I'm just a voice here on YouTube. You know, everybody, like, there are books, and I've got a saying, and I think it's Allowing Magnificence. That was some really good stuff. I think I say that one sentence lived is worth 100 books read. I remember being in India, and I went there to meet the Dalai Lama, and I went with a group of Marianne Williamson people, and I did not know I was living with a paranoid schizophrenic. I could not figure out why I couldn't make my relationship work. Good God. I kept thinking, it's got to be me. And I remember reading these books and digging and digging and digging, and I thought, I read these lines. Do I live one sentence? Do I actually live one sentence of any one of these lines that I've read in these books that I agree with and know to be true? Can't I just, how do I do that? You know, we're just here throwing words at you and concepts. I know there's an easier way. I'm always searching for the best way. I'm open to suggestions. I really need you all to comment here what you want me to talk about. I'm going to have, I already know for next week, Nika, my prompt for these is going to talk about what if we start to doubt ourselves and think they're out of our league? Because we can do that to ourselves. We can cut ourselves short before we've even gotten there. So that's a little teaser for next week. But I want to hear what you want me to talk about. Okay, so we are more than at the hour. I'm sure B wants to eat dinner after a long day's work. Gwyneth there on her mobile phone is probably running out of juice. I really want to thank all of you. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Put your notification bells on because I know a lot of people are changing in their time periods. So I want to remind you right now, Allowing Magnificence is free on audio booklet for anyone who's got, at the time of this recording, because I have to be very specific. At the time of this recording, it is free on Audible if you are a subscriber. Otherwise, I think it's like $5 or $6 on Amazon. And if you bundle it, it's less. But again, if you're listening at a later date, all the links are underneath here. I just think that is not a book patently about relationships. I need you all to understand that. I have a guy that has been removed because he's been it's so personal. He keeps saying it's just another self-help book. It didn't help me with the relationships. No, it's about us. It's not about relationships. I use relationships as an example, but it is about us, us, us. Okay. We're at the center point of all of our relationships. All right. Anything else? I wish I could hold each other. Susanite's my friend Jonathan Aslay has finally gotten a group of people in LA to meet each other. And I think that's brilliant. My clients are all over the world. All I can tell you is at the time of this recording, I will be in the south of France in August, like 18th, 19th, 20th. And so if you happen to be traveling and you're in Monaco or Monte Carlo, or you can get there by train, let me know, because I'll be doing individual in-person sessions, but you're going to find more about that later. Okay. Oh, sociopaths are an interesting topic. Yeah. Well, maybe you've already been there. I mean, my feeling is just stay away. But thank you for this, because I haven't gone into dating games for a while because I have so much material that's already been done in dating games, and I have the dating games guide that you can get that goes to everything. So I haven't discussed it, Reese, but I'll think about that. Thank you. Please list everything. I'm going to sign off now. We went a little bit over time. Thank you, all of you. And I just want you to remember that no matter how bad this current situation is to you right now, the possibility exists that you can indeed flip this to its positive. If nothing else, to turn your own direction of whom you're dating or what you're doing, but there could be greater suggestions here and greater possibilities for you. And I will read all of these. Arranged marriages. Okay, thank you so much, recovering and getting out there after a narcissistic marriage. I know you say narcissist next, but I'm still being haunted by the dream. We keep the dream and replace the person. That's why I did the merch for you. Whether it's a coffee cup or a t-shirt or a sticker, keep the dream, replace the person. The person that failed us shows where we need to tweak our design for our leading man or leading lady or leading them, right? Okay, everybody. Love to you all. Thank you so much, B, Gwyneth, all the participants, all the super chat contributors. Thank you immensely. I will see you next week. Bye, Richard. Bye, everybody. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye now. Thank you.